Let's speak to one of Labour's biggest donors and the founder of Ecotricity, Dale Vince. Of course, it's great to see you, Mr Vince. Thanks for taking the time to join us. Lots to talk to you about this morning, but let's start with that Downing Street pass crisis. Some are suggesting or describing it as it doesn't seem to want to go away. Ellie Reeves yesterday said there was no rule to stop Labour giving Lord Ali a Downing Street pass. Is that a good enough reason for him to have one?
Honestly, I don't know much about the story, but as I understand it, Lord Ali does a job for the Labour Party. I imagine he had business in number 10, but I don't know much about it. It doesn't sound like a major crisis or a big piece of news to me. It sounds like a bit of kind of summer tittle-tattle when there's not much else going on in the world.
He's donated not as much as you have to the Labour Party, I don't think, since 2020. Have you ever been offered a pass?
No.
Would you take it?
I wouldn't need it.
Okay.
If I needed it, I would take it.
Say again?
If I needed it, I would take it, but I don't need one.
OK. Talk to me about Keir Starmer's speech yesterday and the fact that he was suggesting that things are going to get worse before they get better. When you were listening to him, I'm sure you, even if you didn't listen to him, you're aware of what he said. How did that make you feel about the government?
I think there's a lot of truth in what he's saying. The inherent situation is worse than it looked on the other side of the election. I was reading just now that we've borrowed £5 billion more in the last few months because of our trade gap. On the other hand, inflation is down and the economy is growing, so it's probably a bit of a mixed bag in there. But it's fair to say things are worse than they looked on the other side of the election in respect of public sector borrowing.
So what do we make of the Shadow Chancellor when he says that's absolute nonsense?
I think he's bound to say that, actually. But the numbers don't lie.
OK. Do you personally agree with taking winter fuel payments away from 10 million pensioners?
I do, actually, because I think that we have to balance our approach to the economy and where we spend the money that we do have, and it is in limited supply. And there are millions of children in food poverty in our country. And for me, that's a bigger priority than people on pensions that aren't on benefits and therefore arguably need this top-up for energy bills less.
How do you feel about us getting closer to the European Union again?
It's like a proper grilling this morning. I think I'm a fan of the EU. I think it's a force for good in the world. I think the regulations that they pass, I was reading this morning about Telegram, what they're doing to regulate actually the very large digital platforms that can cause so much trouble and disruption in societies. I think they're doing a good job on that, for example. I think getting closer to the EU only makes sense. It's the biggest trading bloc in the world, 600 million people, and it's on our doorstep.
OK. This isn't a grilling, Mr Vince. You'd know about it if it was a grilling, trust me. Talk to me about bug burgers. I know it's something that's probably quite close to your heart, isn't it? You want us to eat less meat?
Bug burgers, did you say?
Yes.
I can imagine what they are. I haven't read anything about bug burgers.
Apparently, Leeds University is investing £38 million in alternatives to meat. Some of those are bugs that are going to be ground down and then made into a burger. That's just the headline. That's obviously what's grabbing people's attention. Would you eat one?
No, I would not. We don't need to eat animals. The problems that we face, the climate crisis, the human health crisis, and the depletion of wildlife, the extinction of wildlife on our planet are driven by intensive animal farming. We don't need to switch from cows to bugs. We're actually developing something quite different. I'm happy to tell you about it here, which is to make food from grass, human edible protein from grass, which we have in abundance in our country. And I think that's a better way to go than bugs.
OK. It's good to see you. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you,
hopefully
Kay.
You'll come back again soon. Thank you.
I will. Thank you.